guys, welcome back. This is going to be part 4 of the cat meow tutorial here, where I show you guys how to paint incredibly realistic looking wildlife images like that. And of course, the background here, believe it or not, I mean, go figure, I got another cat going on. But anyway, welcome back to part 4. If you haven't been here before, you need to probably go check out part 1, 2, and 3. It should be in the playlist. I'll try to drop a card up there. Should pop up information on your screen so that you guys can click that and take you straight to part 1. But anyway, let's get on to it and finish this. Well, not that, but finish this. Okay, after I last left you guys, so I came back in here and using just a little bit of some red violet and burnt sienna. And I'm doing just a little bit of toning and touching up with some things. I'm going throughout my picture, checking my colors, and I'm using those colors just to shift the tone around to get the exact color that I want and darken in a few places and make sure that everything is directional and, you know, fairly accurate. Don't mind there's a little bit of previous work done on this. This painting wound up sitting for a month and she had to kind of start over again on a few things. But I'm using right there a mixture of blue and black, and this is normally how you would work. You lay your paint in a little bit and rather quickly come back with your scratching and erasing layer, you know, and then you can go through there. And this is real time, so you know, this is how quick it actually is going. And this is normally how you would work a picture. Okay. So I let this painting sit for a really, really long time. It became, when you do that, and the longer the paint sits, the more difficult it is to remove the paint. I want to point out to you guys that when we do these scratches like this, if you're having to push hard, that's not going to work out real well for you. You want to be just barely scratching through the paint and not damaging your surface. So if you lay a thicker layer of paint, it's easier to scratch than if you lay a thinner layer of paint. But if you've let your paint sit, as you can see, these light scratches aren't doing anything to the paint layer. So what you can do, and some of you may notice that I had to make some changes in here. I had a big mistake on here, and I had to fix it. But what you can do is take straight reducer, and now I can come through as I put reducer in, wet that, and it's very easy for me to scratch out what I need to. I put a little bit of color in here. I had to scratch this all the way back to white because I got really ugly with it trying to work on it. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain the finesse that it actually takes to scratch effectively and quickly. And so those of you who followed me for a long time know that I like to lay out a lot of paint and work in sections, but that depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing a lot of scratching like this for a beard or something like that, you really want to work your paint down and then work quickly. And so what I'm doing right now with this reducer is almost the same as if I have fresh wet paint. Because the reducer reactivates the paint. I'm using the 4012 reducer from Createx, and if these are Createx Illustration paints, the 4012 will reactivate the paint a lot more than their other reducers. As you might see that I'm just not even really doing anything here. There's actually a shadow that goes in here. We're going to put a shadow in. And after we get done with that shadow, we do a little bit of work here. We'll be ready to put our whiskers in. But I wanted to give you a little bit of real time and show you how I'm bringing those whiskers over those dark spots. There's some spots up here that need a little bit of work. So I'm going to hit a little bit of reducer on it. And even at that, if I go really, really gentle, as long as I don't hit that reducer really, really hard, I'm not going to scratch all the way back to pure white. If y'all remember at the beginning of this painting, I started out with a base color and an undercolor, and that's what we're wanting to do. We're wanting to expose that undercolor more than we're wanting to expose white. So I did that in a opaque, and now I'm working, and then I've worked some with transparents. So I've done a combination of the two. If you were working straight transparents, then you probably wouldn't lay that base underlayer color like that. You would probably continue to work with your one color, but even then, if you want to get those variations of tone, multiple variations of tone, you're going to have to use multiple variations of color. Also, if you do scratching with a X-Acto knife like this, you really have to have a good sharp X-Acto knife, X-Acto blade, and so you will go through them fairly often. You know, the sharper your blade is, the more control you actually have over what you're doing. Pay attention to those blue tones in here for that shading. And then notice how I'm going to go from little scratch lines into just a blended out where there's barely any lines here. I'm going to pull some gently. See, this paint sat here for a very, very long time. I'm going to hit a little bit of reducer on the edge, but I'm going to be very gentle and still I'm going to put some scratches that don't go all the way back to white, if you can see that. Couple whiskers out there. And if you do scratch too far, like I did right here, you can just come back and hit over the top of them a little bit. I would highly suggest, if you do that, to use a transparent paint to blend that in if you go too far. Just adding just the tiniest little bit of whisker work on the edge. And lastly, we will scratch in our whiskers, and you know, best to do them one stroke if you can. As you can see, I had some previously done and have come back over it. And there we go for the final, and we appreciate y'all stopping by here today. I hope you guys got a little bit of something out of this tutorial. And you know, if you're new here, remember, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and turn on notifications for YouTube so that you can get notified of all the videos coming out, because we got videos coming out here usually every week. Some of you may be aware, some of you, if you're new, you probably aren't aware. My granddaughter was diagnosed with leukemia, so there was quite a drop off in my production, and it might be a little bit spotty in this coming month. We got a lot of stuff going on, but you know, I will do my best to try to get videos out. But so for a little bit spotty, you'll have to forgive me, my regular viewers. You know, you guys have to forgive me. But we will be making a concentrated effort to try to have at least a couple videos coming out every week. Of course, this is 4 parts. So we got 4 videos out in a matter of 5 days to complete this entire video. It's rather long, a lot of information to go over. Well, what we try to do here is give you all the information within a reasonable amount of time. But anyway, guys, we appreciate you stopping by. Make sure you comment down below. I got any questions, always ask down below. And we appreciate you, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.